here's a story from a distant star about a planet called Zaponia, where the people cried and shook with fear as the land was dry and the end was near. On an urgent mission to put it right, brave young Ziku, day and night, searched through space till in view came a spinning world of green and blue. Welcome to Ziku's Earth Adventure! And this is where it all begins in a world of science and earthling friends.
Choose Zoyota spacecraft for your intergalactic travels because everything keeps going zooty. Zoyota. And we now return to our weekly transmission of Inspector Zoltrad, Space Investigator. Inspector Zoltrad opens the door to the attic slowly. He thinks to himself, spaceport pirate Zirtanian must be here somewhere. And as he steps forward, a mighty... we interrupt this report for a special transmission from Zaponia. Prime Counselor Zed Zandor calling Pod Controller Ziku. Calling Ziku. Come in, Ziku.
Where is she? Ziku? Ziku? Come in, Ziku. Ziku? Come in, Ziku.
Sorry, Zandor. Sorry I'm late. I was helping Barley with her school project.
What on earth is that?
This is a wheelbarrow. We use it to carry big or heavy things from one place to another. You put things in it, and then you zip it around.
Oh, all that moving. It's making me dizzy. Stop.
Sorry, sir.
Much better. Why exactly are you using that earth machine?
I'm helping Mbali. She's making an indigenous garden at her house. We're getting the ground ready.
Oh, what is an indigenous garden?
You must be talking about an indigenous garden, Ziku. If plants grow naturally in a habitat, they are indigenous. In other words, they come naturally from that area and weren't brought there from any other place.
What is this garden they are building?
A garden is a piece of land used for growing grass, flowers, trees, and vegetables.
Ah, that sounds like a very interesting thing to do. But as you know, Ziku, here on Zaponia we don't have any of these indigenous gardens. So for your mission today, find out why Earthlings are interested in indigenous plants and find out why they plant them in gardens. Also, find out how they go about doing this.
Okay, Zandor, I'll get right onto it.
Good luck. Over and out.
Zillion, I need some more info on these what exactly does it mean again?
If a plant is indigenous, it means that it grows naturally in a certain habitat. South Africa has an amazing variety of beautiful plants that grow wild here. Do you remember plants are specially adapted to live in their habitat? If you plant indigenous plants, they are more likely to grow well. It makes sense to grow things that are indigenous, don't you think?
Oh yes, that makes sense. But why plant gardens?
Well, sometimes Earthlings plant gardens for food. Although it takes a lot of time and effort to grow vegetables and fruit, they can have fresh, healthy food if they take the trouble. There are also other kinds of gardens. People plant flowers, bushes, and trees because they look beautiful. Just take a look out there. Look at what Earthlings have done to the environment. It looks terrible. When Earthlings build roads, houses, shops, and factories in cities, they often destroy plants. When there is no grass, the wind blows the sand, making things dusty and unpleasant. When plants are not there to bind the soil, water causes washaways and erosion.
Oh, it looks like the dead plains of Zagalu too.
The difference is that Earthlings can change that. As you know, plants also put oxygen back into the air and help to get rid of pollution. There are many ways in which indigenous gardens can improve the environment. They encourage birds, butterflies, and other wonderful wild creatures to live there.
Thanks, Zillion. I'm now ready to go back to Mbali and help her with her garden. Can you please activate Zoom and see if you can get some examples of indigenous plants?
Done, Pod Controller Ziku. Activating Zoom.
Hi there, you little gardeners. Right, there we are. I brought you a nice little indigenous plant.
So what are we going to do now?
Well, if you remember last time, we prepared our bed, we nourished the soil, we added a little bit of compost. That's what compost looks like, remember? And then we loosened the soil to make sure that there is enough air between the particles. Now, this looks like a bed that will support the growth of plants. When you feel it, it feels crumbly, it has fine particles and some bigger particles, and some organic material like small bits of stick and leaves.
Can we please plant something now?
Yes, of course. Here's the indigenous plant I brought you. Where would you like to put it?
Over there.
Right, that looks like a good spot. Yeah. Now, what we have to make sure is to dig a hole big enough for the size of our plant that we want to put in the ground. And a square hole is good because that allows the roots to grow and spread underground, but also make sure that the hole is twice as big as the root ball of the plant.
Garth, when would be the best time to start a garden?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, the best time is during the rainy season because then your plants get a good start. So, here we go. There, we'll mark our hole.
Our hole is done now. What are we going to do now?
Well, we mix some soil with the compost and place it at the bottom of the hole. Now make sure the hole is now the correct depth for the plant and adjust it if necessary. Remove the plant from the plastic bag carefully and place it in the hole. Water the soil and the hole well. Then we fill the hole up with soil and compost. And when that's done, press down firmly. Now make sure that there is a shallow sort of basin around the plant to prevent the water from running off and away. Once we've done that, water again. And when we've finished that, we put mulch around the base of the plant with leaves or other organic matter. And what does this do? This prevents the soil from drying out too quickly, just like the leaves on the ground in the forest habitats, remember? Now, as it decomposes, it also provides food for the plants to absorb through their roots. It also prevents weeds from growing around your plant. Now, sometimes people also use stones or pebbles to keep the soil moist underneath.
I think I'll call this plant Xando.
Oh, that's a very nice name.
How did you know where to plant all the plants and what to plant?
I'll show you. Well, before we started, we drew a map of the garden, as if we were looking at it from above. That gave us a pretty good idea of what the garden would look like when it's finished.
Well, you should always plant your biggest shrubs and bushes towards the back, because then you won't be able to see all the little plants in front. And you should also choose plants with different colored flowers and different kinds of leaves, because then it'll make your garden look very interesting. And also remember, you have to consider that plants grow in different ways. Some creep along the ground and others grow up tall and wide.
This garden is certainly starting to look like something.
Will you come and help me water it again tomorrow?
Yes!
And remember, a good long soak is much better for the plants than just repeated watering. And what we have here is our watering can and our hose pipe. And these are very useful because they will help you water the plants that really need the water. But remember to use a nozzle, because this will help stem the flow of the water and spread it before it reaches the plant.
Oh, talking about watering, when would be the best time to water your garden?
Well, when it's cooler. For example, early in the morning or late in the afternoon. And that prevents the water from evaporating during the heat of the day. Now, here's a little tip. In order to prevent water wastage, you could also use the water left over from washing dishes or washing your hands and so on. Now, when you come and water, look for and remove weeds when they are young. You see, they can crowd your plants and compete with them for water and nutrients. Now, remember, it's always best to remove weeds when the soil is moist.
I can't wait to see what the garden looks like when everything has grown big. See you tomorrow, girls. Bye, Bali.
I'm sure it's going to be something to be proud of. Bye, Ziku.
Hi, Zico. Thanks for all the help.
Saudi Zillion, Saudi Zoom.
Howdy, Zico. Did the mission go well?
Oh, yes. I'm just so tired. Gardening is hard work. I can sleep for a gazillion years. Okay, Zoom, let's see what you have.
Zoom!
All of these plants are indigenous to South Africa and Southern Africa. They are perfect for the areas they are indigenous to.
Zoopity zoop zoop.
What is this place with all the plants?
It's called a nursery. That is where earthlings grow various types of plants so people can buy them.
Oh, yes, Cillian. Garth was talking about water-wise plants. He said that these are plants that live in dry and hot places, and earthlings don't have to water them so much. Can you please show me some of those?
Zoom!
A whole water-wise section? They seem to be the right people to ask advice on plants. Councillor Zedzando calling Ziku. Come in, Ziku.
Zawdi, Ziku.
Saudi, Zandul.
How did your mission go?
Very good, sir. You should see the garden we planted.
I'd love to, Ziku. Everyone on Zamponia is very excited about these gardens.
I even named a plant after you.
Oh, I'd definitely like to see that.
Ready to send the report, sir.
Zapatoni Zillion.
People are planting indigenous gardens to improve the quality of our environment. We have lots of beautiful indigenous plants to choose from, and they are more likely to grow well in a place that is like their own habitat. Steps to follow when making an indigenous garden. Form an enthusiastic team to share the work and get the equipment and funds. Find a good site. Think carefully about what this habitat is like. For example, is it shady? Is it hot and dry? Find out about indigenous plants that like that kind of habitat. Discuss and plan your garden. Rather make water-wise decisions about plants so that you don't have to use lots of water to keep them alive. Prepare and nourish the soil with compost. Plant your garden. Water your garden in a water-wise way. Here's how an indigenous garden looks when it has grown. This will also encourage birds and other animals to live there.
Well, that looks beautiful and inspiring. I think we should introduce this earth idea in Zamponia. Do keep me informed.
Yes, Councillor.
Over and out.
Over and out, Councillor Zandul.
Prepare to send information. Data drives engaged. Uploading files. Matrix ZZZZZZ. Completing transmission. Upload successful. Over and out.
Zawi! Mission accomplished. Ziazoon, Zillion. Zigazoo, Zoom.
Good night, good Earth. Good luck, brave Zarponia.